Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is Real Reds Talk. My name is Nick. Alvaro Fernandez buyback clause. Should we activate it? Should we do it? Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. We're going to discuss Harry Maguire's price tag as well, being set at a very bizarre way. Not in a bizarre way, but just a bizarre price tag in general, I think it's... Yeah, I definitely want to get into that. Antony to Newcastle is another talking point, and apparently there are other clubs interested in signing him as well. Could he potentially go out on loan, or even a permanent sale in January? We know it's a tricky market in January, so more likely to be a loan, knowing, how Man United do deals. We've got a shocking start that's going to absolutely rock you to the core in terms of Erik ten Hag and Manchester United and the Premier League. And also we'll get into all the latest on injuries in regards to Rasmus Højlund, Mason Mount, Lenny Yoro, and all those guys. So please do smash like in the video for us. Let us know how you're feeling on this Monday morning. Is it Monday? I feel like it's Monday. It is Monday. Let us know your thoughts and feelings. Just in general, what you're up to this week. Are you in work currently? Are you on your break? Yeah, all that good stuff. I love hearing those kind of things. So, and I'll go back to the chat shortly. But let's just discuss this first bit of news at the start. So, Alvaro Fernandez, United have until the 2026 summer transfer window to activate their buyback option for Alvaro Carreras. Is how they say it. And the question is, should they activate this? So, 16.7 million, when I think we sold him for around £6 million, right? And I know at the time, including, there's quite a few lads on the channel who were saying, we believe in this kid, we believe he deserves an opportunity, why does Erik ten Hag not play him, etc, 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 right? And I get it to a certain point, because we did have problems at left back, but I think we're seeing a similar thing now with Harry Amas, where everyone's like, oh, he is the only left back, so you must play him. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think if the coaches watch him day in, day out, if they don't think he's potentially, physically ready, or they don't think he's switched on defensively enough in the big games, or, whatever they've seen, I would usually trust the judgment, especially when it comes to young players as well. Because they've set the bar with Garnacho and Kobe, they've come into the team and they've become regulars. Collier's dipping in and out, so he's not at that level yet. They've watched Amas and they don't think he's ready. Same thing with Alvaro, they didn't think he was ready. And also, Alvaro would more suit a wing-back kind of system. I think he's great going forward, but I don't think he's good defensively. And obviously, with us playing a back four, I think it's a bit of a risk. And I think that's why they sold him. So I was never really too fussed when we did sell him. A lot of people was up in arms saying, oh, why are we doing that? And blah, blah, blah. Yes, we should have brought in a left-back initially, but... they were saying the budget didn't stretch for that. Believe what you want. They should have brought in a left back, but a decent left back, an experienced left back. I would have done. I think putting all your trust and eggs in one basket with Alvaro was not something I would have done personally. You look at his record at United, especially under Erik ten Hag. He played 2 halves in friendlies. Didn't travel on the 2022 preseason tour, and didn't play for the first team during the 2023 tour as well. So, he didn't cut it at the time. They didn't rate him. I know he's doing well at Benfica now, but how many times have we been through the ringer with this? How many times have we discussed this? People who have gone out on loan, or they've gone to another club and they've found... Andreas Pereira is a perfect example at Fulham. Would have never, ever worked out at United. Always had an amazing pre-season. There was always talks about it. There was big hype when he was coming up, and it just never clicked. And then he goes to Fulham and he becomes a really important player for them, one of their best players. It just happens. Whether it's the nature of the beast with it being Man United, I don't know. But I am not as fussed about Alvaro going back or not personally. That I might be going against the grain. It might be in the the kind of is it minority the word? I don't know. But I know a lot of people feel quite strongly about this. So let's see what you guys are saying. Mark Palmer, doesn't going for Alvaro make us look like a laughing stock considering we sold him? Exactly. Imagine, we'll sell you for £6 million, and then in 6 months' time or a year's time, what we'll do is we'll buy him back. We'll spend another 10 million. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It just seems a bit stupid to me. Dan's working and watching. Lovely to hear. Don't work too hard, Dan. UTFR, Harry Amas is nowhere near the level I've been watching in the 21s. He's not ready. That's what I mean. It becomes a popular thing for people to kind of jump on it and just say, this guy should be starting. He's a young player. He looks good in the step up from academy level, even under 21s, to Premier League elite level when you come up against Salah, Saka, these kind of guys is a next level. And people might say, well, if they never give him a chance to play, then you know, if you don't give them the opportunity, then how will you know? But I think they've seen enough. I think they've seen enough in pre-season and bits in training. And I would, with tactics, I probably wouldn't trust Ten Hag as much as I would with other coaches if we're going into, let's say, a Champions League final. Although he's got a pretty good record in finals. He's won 2 out of 3. I trust his judgment with young players. I really, really do. And he's coached enough of them at Ajax and at Man United to know the instincts and to know the level of the threshold of when they can come through. So Alvaro, I think it would be a stupid move. I would rather, if you're going to go spend 16 million on him, I would rather go try and find a diamond in Europe, or I would probably spend a little bit extra money to bring in a quality one who's going to stay fit and available. I mean, Alphonso Davies goes on a free next season. I know he's started to go to Real Madrid, but so was Lenny Yoro. Why are we not in the mix for that? Gutierrez has a release clause of 30, 40 million, I think it is, at Girona. Someone you could potentially look at. Robinson from Fulham cost 30 to 40 million. Just go spend the money. That's proven. You know, I know people hate using the word Prem proven, but it is. He is. So that is someone that I would bring in. But continue to let me know your thoughts on that, because it's a very divisive topic. I know there's a lot of people who do want to bring him back, but I just personally think it'd be a bit daft. But everyone's entitled to different opinions. Right, let's discuss this other news story that was coming in around yesterday. We didn't really get a chance to touch on it because we dropped a video last night. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, actually. How Ruud van Nistelrooy would set up Manchester United if he came in as the interim coach. That's the video that we dropped last night. Really good, if I do say so myself. Make sure you go check that out after this and let us know your thoughts. If you feel like that is what he would do, or do you think I've got it wrong? I've done quite a bit of research on him at his time at PSV from, I think it was like 22 to 23 season. Finished second, you know, won a couple of trophies there. But is it all, you know, roses and smiles? It's not. There was some things that he weren't necessarily good at, and I think there are some similarities between Ten Hag and Ruud van Nistelrooy. So the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So let me know what your thoughts on that video. But yeah, Harry Maguire, mad price tag set. £10 million is what they're talking, is what they want. Now, I think his contract situation runs out in 2025. I don't think there is an option for an extension there. Could be completely wrong on that, and I'll look into it in a moment. But they're asking for 10 million in January. If a club comes in and they want him to step forward and to get him before he goes on a free. Do you know what I mean? To have that, that's why you're paying the 10 mil basically. Because if you come in now, there's a lot more of a chance of getting him rather than in the summer. So maybe, I think clubs might look at it as an example, you know, like an Everton, for example. You know, Maguire would do a really good job there. There's a couple of clubs. He's still a top centre-back. I just don't think he's necessarily a top 4 centre-back, but we're not a top 4 team either at the minute. So I think 10 million, is it fair? Is it stupid? Is it, I don't know, because he's going to go on a free. So the majority of clubs, I imagine, are going to wait until the summer and they're just going to go, yeah, Harry, we'll give you a decent wage. If you want to come play for us for 3 years, come be a leader in our back line. I don't see teams necessarily paying 10 million in January unless they really want to get the jump on him and they really want to bring him into the club. But yeah, to go from what we bought him for £80 million for him then to go for 10 is just crazy, innit? I mean, you look at the deals we've done over the past 4 or 5 years, and let me get a swig of my coffee for this. The deals we've done over the past 4 or 5 years, I mean, you look at Wan-Bissaka we bought for £50 million, right? And we sold him for 15, was it? 15 million quid. Harry Maguire we bought for £80 million, getting sold for 10 million. Pogba bought for £90 million, went on a free. I'm trying to think of other deals. Antony, £80 million, we're trying to loan him out or sell him in January. Probably for what are we going to get for him? 20 mil? 25 mil, probably. Potentially. You can go through, the list is endless. Just players that we've bought for a lot of money and we get 10% back. And that, not only as a football club, isn't sustainable, but as a business model to be spending so... We're going away from that now. We're investing in younger players and there's going to be, you know, you're going to get your money back effectively. Because if Lenny Yoro in 5 years' time, if he wants to move to Real Madrid, you're probably going to get, what, £100 million for him? Potentially. So you've doubled your money there instantly. Whereas when you buy players like Alexis Sanchez and Di Maria and Paul Pogba and these guys, it doesn't work out and then they go for the money that they do, it's a massive financial dint. And then it just, what we're seeing now is where we're at in a minute, the long-term effects of that. So, yeah, I think we need to go away from these kind of deals. The obvious favourite choice, who's costing 50 to 80 million pound, and do a bit more due diligence in your scouting. But Ineos are working on that in terms of recruitment and stuff. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah, if he does go, I wish him all the best. I've always said Harry Maguire is, excuse me, Harry Maguire is an example for a lot of young kids. We was talking about someone like Harry Amas there. I know they play different positions, but if you want a professional to look up to know how to conduct yourself at the toughest of times, when you're getting abuse from fans, when, you know, everything's against you at the club, he is someone you can look at and go, look at the amount of abuse that he got through. Not saying that anyone should receive abuse or anything like that, but I'm saying Harry Maguire's been through it all. Whether it's injuries, whether it's abuse from fans, whether it's really bad form, you know, he's captain United. He's been through the ringer in terms of pressure. So if you need anyone to talk to, he is the guy, I think. He is the guy. And a lot of people questioned Ollie giving him the captaincy after 6 months. I agree. I don't think he's a level of quality or has the level of consistency to be the captain. But I think as a human being, I think he does. I think he's a lot less temperamental than Bruno Fernandez, for example. And I think he's a good person. I think he connects with the squad well, but ability-wise, there was some question marks. So whoever does go on to sign Harry Maguire, they're getting a really good character and someone in that back line. And I hope he does well. I hope wherever he goes to, whether it is January or summer, I hope he succeeds. So yeah, I won't say another bad word about Maguire because I think he's been the utmost professional for Manchester United, especially over these past couple of years, and put his body on the line, ended up missing the Euros, ended up missing the FA Cup final for him doing that for the club when we needed him the most. So yeah, no issues with Maguire there whatsoever. On to Antony. So Manchester United decided to let Antony leave in January. He is available on loan or a permanent transfer. Ajax, Newcastle and Crystal Palace are all interested in the winger. We did a story yesterday that United are interested in Eberechi Eze. Let's just do a straight winger swap. Why not? Let's do it. Will never ever happen. They want 60 mil for Eze. We're not going to get anywhere near that for Antony, are we? Let's be clear about that. So what do? Do we let Antony leave on loan? Let him try get some football. Let him try push his price tag up a little bit. Would he be successful? Would you see another thing there where he goes to a club a little bit lower down the league, like a Palace or like let's say Ajax, who aren't in the best of thing at the moment? If he goes back there, but the issue is again on this one, you're only going to get a certain return on this player. You're only going to get 10, 15, 20 million max. And that's 60 million, another 60 million pound that you just shit down the drain, basically. So I'm sure if we ask the majority of United fans now, would you sell him or loan him out? I'm sure the majority of them would be happy to do either. And just say either let him go get some football, let him find some form, or let him finally click somewhere. And if he does, and he's on loan, we can bring him back and reintegrate him into the squad. But to be honest, I look at our wingers at the moment, I don't think any of them are really performing amazingly well. They've all got 1 goal and 1 assist or something. Their output's been shocking. So is it out of the realms of possibility to say he could probably get back into the team? I don't think it is. And again, that might be an unpopular opinion, but I just think the levels at the minute that our wingers are offering, I just don't see it. Honestly, really don't see it. Anyway, what are we saying? How much you reckon that young lad from Bournemouth would cost? Kirkes, 40 million quid. He's been touted for. Godwill Kunkonke, 6'5", left back, centre back for our under 18s. Apparently, he's the real deal. I'd throw Amas into the fire. We need him. Plenty of Cup and Europa games to try and integrate youngsters. UTFR Mendy's just signed a new deal at Rail, so Davis is viable. Oh, now we're talking UTFR. Now we're talking. I like Alphonso Davis. I don't know how Eric Ten Hag gets it across to say, you know, remember what I said about you at Bayern, that you're not a good defender. Don't forget about that. Listen, you're going to play for us. Yeah, I don't know how he gets that one across in a Zoom meeting. That's a very awkward call, but he's someone I would look at. Would he go from Bayern to Man United, where we're at in a minute? Maybe he fancies his chances in the Premier League. You know, it is a dream for a lot of players to play for us, so it's definitely something I'd look at. He's been at Bayern for quite a while now. How long? Like 5 years at least, I'd say. You know, he's been under various different managers. I would like to bring him in. He's an athlete. He's rapid. He's really good going forward. Question marks defensively, as Ten Hag's already said, but I think he's a decent left back, and I think he's someone who would be available for the majority. I don't think he's got a bad injury record, from my knowledge anyway. So yeah, Richard's saying we need a left back urgently. Of course we do. Of course we do. If it was in the budget, I'm sure they would have done it. People will question again, maybe you could have moved a couple of things around. Did we really need this player? Did we really need a Mason Mount? Could that not have been spent on a striker or a left back long term? And those questions are very, very valid. But yeah, we'll see what happens about left back situation. I did see a stat. So this is, again, we're talking about the defense. We've spoken about Maguire, Alvaro, Amas. The whole kind of theme of this show has been about the back line and the defense. But so I saw a stat before. Crystal Palace, St. Pauli, Southampton, and Leeds are the only sides across Europe's top 5 leagues that have scored less goals than Manchester United this season. I've just been talking about our wingers and they're not putting out enough. Our strikers not scoring enough. This is a massive, massive concern. Look, I know Onana might be winning the Golden Glove race, but it means fuck all if you're not scoring goals. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't score any against Liverpool. We didn't score any against Spurs. We didn't score any against Aston Villa. All teams in the top half of the table. We yet to play Arsenal. We yet to play City. We yet to play Chelsea. You can't continue this run of not scoring. You simply cannot do that. To be compared with Palace, Southampton, Leeds, and St. Pauli is just absolutely shocking. Shocking. And I don't know. I'm looking at the team now. I'm like, I don't know where did the goals come from? Who's going to step up and take the mantle? Because we're midway through October. It's the 14th of October today. It'll be halfway through the season before you know it, and your players are on 2-3 goals apiece. No way near good enough. I think the issue is with us sometimes. We put our players on a pedestal when they have half a good season or a good season, like a Marcus Rashford. Garnacho's been blown up out of proportion. He's a talented winger, no doubt about it. But we put them higher than what they are. And then when they drop off, everyone's like really shocked and surprised. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is what the players do. Ahmad, I love Ahmad. I've been pushing for Ahmad to start in the team for ages. And he comes in, has a decent couple of performances, and then goes really, really quiet. So someone needs to wake these players up and say, you need to kick into gear. Start finding each other. Garnacho's a prime example against, who was it? Was it Villa? It might have been a Villa game where I was absolutely pulling my hair out watching him. I'm like, square it, pass the fucking ball, find your teammates. It's about winning the game. It's not about the amount of volume of shots you have. They need to be less selfish and start finding. There's no connection there at all between the three players. They look like 3 individuals on a pitch trying to grab the moment. And that's been an issue with United for ages. For 16.7 million, that's a no-brainer for Alvaro. We need a left-back, and he's been playing well for Benfica. I disagree, but I get what you're saying. Benfica have won Liverpool. They'll have to pay 41 million to sign Alvaro. So a buyback clause of 20 million is no-brainer. Financially, it's better than that, but I can't see Liverpool paying that. You sound good coming out of a 100-watt amplifier, Nick. Oh, it's nice to know. I'm loud. I'm loud, Richard. Very loud. Yeah. Where was he at? I was talking about the defensive stat. So, not the defensive stat, the attacking stat. We need to improve on that. But everyone knows that already. I'm just telling you stuff that you know. On injuries, speaking about strikers, Rasmus Højlund was absent from Denmark training yesterday. That got, I think, Bold, which is a Danish kind of media outlet, put that out that he was absent from the training. So hopefully it's just a precautionary move from Denmark, but there's no kind of definitive answer to this at the minute. I'm just praying to God he's not pulled his hamstring or something again, because I'm talking about goals then. The only one I'm looking at him like could potentially start going on a bit of a goal scoring run, and he's proven it before, is Rasmus Højlund. When we saw him in the Champions League group stage, top scorer, we saw him go on that run where he scored 10 goals in 10 games or something, I think it was, but then went on a really kind of dry spell again. And what strikers need is confidence. They need goals. They need confidence. If he's out again, then it's Pache, comes back a couple of weeks, then he goes out a couple of weeks. Rasmus Højlund is someone to watch with injury, I think, because he's had quite a few already since he's been here. Let's pull him up. Let's have a look. So at United, when he first initially signed, he had a back injury and he was out for 30 days for Manchester United. Then he had a hamstring strain. That was in November, and he was out for 16 days. He was ill for 3 days. He then had a muscle injury in February, which kept him out for 14 days. He had a hamstring injury at the start of this season, or in pre-season, sorry, and he was out for 48 days, came back a couple of weeks ago, and now there's another kind of precaution there. And this is all within like a season and a half at United, which is concerning for a striker, especially in the way that he plays as well. He's very explosive. So those hamstring things, if there's a couple that are flaring up there already, it's definitely something I would keep an eye on. But hopefully, like we said, it is just a precaution, and it'll be fine. On Maguire, he's expected to be available within 3 weeks. So initially, the reports that were coming out, they were saying 8 weeks. He's going to be out for ages. It'll be 3 weeks, and I'm not sure if that's from when the international break began. So potentially, he only misses 1 or 2 games. But even so, we're looking at who's going to be at right back. Victor Lindelof, potentially. And then Dalot at left back. I think that they probably will go with. What other alternatives do we have, really? I mean, you could play Leach there, but I think we've seen enough, especially from the Porto game, that Lisandro Martinez is not great at defending, wide channels. So, I don't know. It's a tough one. And I think whatever he goes with is going to be a weakness in that back line. And I think they're going to, whatever team are playing, like Brentford, for example, I'm sure Lewis Potter or Rico Henry, whoever it is on that left-hand side, is going to be bombarding that left-hand side with Victor Lindelof there. So, yeah, that's another weakness. And that's what happens when you don't sign a wing-back. You don't bring one in. And we've not even had a proper left-back play football. Luke Shaw was last time, and I don't even know the last game Luke Shaw played. It's got to be about 6 months ago. So we've got a long, long time shoehorning a player at that left-back spot. Dalot does okay there, but it's different. You've seen the difference is night and day from having a proper left footer there to a right footer. And when Luke Shaw plays there, hopefully Malacia comes back soon. I don't know when it's going to be, but you don't know what level he's going to be at. He's missed almost 18 months of football. So, yeah, he could be completely off it. I won't put any eggs in that basket at all. So that's the situation with Maguire. And it's disappointing because I think he's been probably the best signing that we've brought in so far. Look, if Yoro can come back, I would much rather play Yoro right back than Victor Lindelof because he's better at defending 1v1. He's a lot quicker and he's probably as good on the ball, if not better. So, but again, you don't want to rush him back either, do you? So, huge headache for Erik ten Hag. I've always said you could, even before all these popular figures in the media started saying it about back fives, you guys can attest to this. Before Gary Neville said it, or Roy Keane, or any of these guys, I think I always felt like we could have done that. That is something you've seen Ugarte play for Uruguay as a centre back, didn't you? In kind of was it like a back three? I think. I'm not saying play him there, but I'm saying you've got options. You can pivot a little bit more, and you've got more security when you've got rather than playing Amrabat at left back or Wan-Bissaka at left back. I just think it's easier doing that, and you can put Antony in as a wing back, let's say, for example, because he works really good off the ball. Just options, I'm saying, but he's not going to pivot. He's going to be very stubborn, and I think we know that. The amount of running he does when he presses is no surprise that he pulls his hamstring, just like Van der Ven when he has to use his recovery case to get back. Very good point. Better shift to a back three until the right backs are available. The last game Luke Shaw was against Luton when he got subbed off, and that was the game that they was talking about, Josh, wasn't it, when they were saying that they rushed him back. And he was like, it was a mistake by me, it was a mistake by the coach, it was a mistake by the medical staff. They were just like, let's just get him back on the pitch. With Shaw, he's just completely gone out of my mind at the minute. Completely gone out of my mind. I even when there's a set date expected with him, I'm just like, I'm done. It's, in the back of my mind that even with Malacia, I'm like, I don't know when he's going to come back. You can't really put too much trust in those or faith because they always let you down. They always let you down. With Mason Mount, now I know he got a head injury, wasn't it? In what game was it? Was it Spurs game potentially? He got a head injury, but then apparently he had a knock as well, which is going to keep him out for a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean we started off the season and we was like, right, those injuries again, surely cannot happen. Surely not. The amount of stuff that we've been through, that's it now for the curse. Wrong. Lenny Yoro, ankle, foot injury. Tyrone Malacia, knee injury. Nasser Maguire, heart problem. Luke Shaw, calf, shin, heel injury. Mason Mount, head, face injury, muscle injury. Garnacho had a bit of a knee injury. Diallo has come off international break because he's ill. Harry Maguire, calf, shin, heel, out for a couple of weeks. Kobbie Mainoo had a bit of a thigh injury as well. And there's more. There's probably more that I've not even mentioned. Do you know what I mean? Dan's just summed it up perfectly well there. Perfectly well. Mount has become like a guest appearance. All those players, well, not all of them. The majority of those players they're just appearing as guests, aren't they? They're turning up like a Zoom call, like a one-off. Shocking, absolutely shocking. So yeah, it's hard to put faith in these players and saying, well, when we get this guy back and when we do this, no, we need results right now. Right now, we are 14th in the league. 14th in the league right now. 9 points off Villa, I think. 15 points off Liverpool. We need to get going. And I don't have faith when we come back. We play Brentford, who are going to be fresh, who are tactically excellent under Thomas Frank. I'm worried about that game. But I'll save my thoughts for it because we've got the preview on Thursday, I think it is. So, yeah, I can't wait for Premier League football to get back. As you guys already know, I hate international breaks. I cannot stand them. So, I can't wait to get back. But I'm sure I'll be as disappointed when football does return and United inevitably lose another game and we get battered. But Erik ten Hag is due back at Carrington today to begin preparations for Saturday's game against Brentford. So, yeah, ten Hag in training today, and we get that ball rolling again. Let's see what happens, and let's see what the rest of the day brings. I will be live again tonight at 7 o'clock. If you guys can, if you haven't already seen it, I know a couple of you guys have. Please do check out the video I did on Ruud van Nistelrooy. If he was to come in as the interim manager, how would he set up Manchester United? I'm going to leave that in the chat for you. So you just got a direct link there. Let us know your thoughts. Leave a comment if you can. I always love it when people do. Any kind of criticism, feedback, stuff you want to add in there. If you get a free 10 minutes, check it out. Really good video. And I'll see you guys.